So for the first time this year, ladies and gentlemen, get this, I am praising my government. Yeah, that long pause was for all the mouths dropping to the floor because I know, right, it doesn't happen often. I'm still in shock as well. But what we're going to be talking about today not only could be a potential big win for the UK, but for future parents going forward as well, especially in Scotland. Just for a little bit of context, not so long ago, Scotland themselves decided to cause a lot of controversy because they passed the Gender Recognition Reform Bill, which essentially means people as young as 16 could now change their gender. So justified uproar, right? Because as we go further into the future, we're starting to learn more and more about the effects of things like puberty blockers and how the surgeries themselves could harm these people forever. But as we all know, these are conversations people don't want to have, right? Because as we move into the age of feelings, especially Scotland, they want short-term happiness for long-term pain. But news is now breaking, thankfully, that Rishi Sunak himself may be about to step in and block this bill. I hope he does, honestly I do. Rishi Sunak is poised to block Scotland's gender reform bill. The Prime Minister has previously said it is completely reasonable for the UK government to consider blocking the reforms, despite the prospect of an almighty fallout from Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon.
I think lots of people have got concerns about this new bill in Scotland, about the impact it will have on women and children's safety. So I think it's completely reasonable for the UK government to have a look at it, understand what the consequences are for women and children's safety in the rest of the UK, and then decide on what the appropriate course of action is.
Now, if I'm honest, they shouldn't be worried about Nicola Sturgeon, right? You'll probably agree with that because she's always crying in the news anyway about how we need to be independent. Please leave us alone. We need another referendum. She doesn't like us anyway. She doesn't like the Conservatives, etc., etc. You can't cause any more damage, so just go along with it. I mean, I would question Nicola Sturgeon's morals and dignity for allowing this bill to pass in the first place, knowing that it could cause more harm than good for future generations. Maybe these are conversations, as I said, people don't want to have. The age of feelings. Although the bill does not apply to England and Wales, the government fears it may lead to gender tourism and allow biologically male Scottish inmates in English jails to demand to be put in women's prisons. There is also concern that people who change gender in Scotland would have a different legal sex when they are in the rest of the UK, and that organisations offering single-sex spaces would have to adopt different policies. Any action to block the legislation is likely to spark a furious response from the SNP, which has already accused Westminster of denying democracy by refusing to allow another independence referendum. As I always said, always crying about independence. But in my opinion, these are just valid concerns. You know, maybe I'm alone in saying this, but gender tourism, Scottish male inmates wanting to be in female prisons just because they've changed their gender, as we all know, that is morally wrong because a lot of dangerous situations can come from that. Organisations changing their policies, the effect it could have on the UK as a whole. What's stopping an English family going into Scotland just because their child wants to change their gender, and then in 10 years, that child isn't happy? You know, I'm surprised it's gotten this far. We all know about the Tavistock surgery. I apologise about the son, but we all know about that surgery and what happened with that, the trauma it caused, the lawsuits that are pending. These are conversations people need to have. But this is what happens when you move into a more liberal world. People just don't care. We need to rewrite everything. Rewrite all the values, all the beliefs, all the laws, just to insert these new ones, and it seems like Scotland is having a hand in this. I really do think we need to have serious conversations about this because when it comes down to it, you see what's going on in America and how big it is for them right now. It's a massive thing. And I mean that with no disrespect towards America, but I don't want to end up like that, right? Because they're talking about it every day, bad things are happening, people are getting into loads of fights, etc., etc. I don't want to be in that. I'd rather us just have some common ground, some common sense. Hey, maybe we need a British version of what is a woman and I need to create that, but I'd rather not get to that point, okay? As I said, common ground, common sense. But what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think Rishi Sunak is right to block this bill? Do you think it should go ahead? Do you think it shouldn't have got to this point in the very first place? I would like to know. If you have enjoyed today's video, then please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that big red subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Please, for me, make sure to always have a great day and stay safe. I'm out. Peace. See you next time.